You are listening to The Black Landscape with Andrea Spearman, where Black excellence is always trending. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Andrea Spearman, and this is The Black Landscape, where we engage with emerging and established Black leaders here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to leave a 5-star review on the show on Apple Podcasts. I'm your host, and I am a light-skinned Black woman with dark brown curly hair. Today, I'm wearing my black and brown glasses and a slightly wrinkled blue jean dress shirt. We are celebrating June as Black Music Month, and we are doing something really special for Oakland Black Music Week with new episodes from Black musicians, vocalists, and presenters that are in collaboration with the Because of Black Music I Am annual festival. More about that later. Today, we're here with Tiffany Austin. Please describe yourself to the people.
Well, gosh, I never really thought about this. I guess I'm a 5'2" Black woman, slight build with some highlights in the front of her hair, have a ponytail off to the side, whimsically. And I'm wearing my rimless glasses today and a black and white kind of checked top.
Yes. So, Tiffany, thank you so much for being here today. I read that you are a jazz artist, yet you hold a law degree? What's the background there? Like, how did that happen? Because they don't usually go together.
Well, basically, I always was into music when I was a kid. I went to performing arts, elementary school, high school, and then when I got to college, I thought, well, I should probably try to think about making some money. So I pivoted into creative writing, which I don't know why I thought that. Well, I knew that I wanted to be some sort of professor. But by the time I graduated from undergrad, both my mother and my aunt had both gone to law school, and they engaged in the fiction of telling me that law school was easy, that I'm brilliant, and I would just fly through it without a care in the world.
You lied to me.
Yeah. So, of course, so I go to law school, and I definitely love the intellectual exercise, but I'd always missed music. And so by the time I got to my second year of law school, I enrolled in a local music school. And so I was pursuing 2 degrees at the same time, music and law. And then by the time I graduated with my law degree, it was very clear to me that my first love was music and I needed to pursue that. But it was really great to complete that, to finish what I started as far as my legal education. And it definitely has dovetailed into starting my own music businesses, including, Wyldflowr Arts, Diaspora Sessions, which is a music series, and as well as Con Alma Music, which is a record label, as well as there's a philanthropy arm, a scholarship attached to it. So it's helpful with all the moving parts that I have going on in my life.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you specifically study like entertainment law, or did that kind of just happen?
Yeah, well, my goal was to study entertainment law, but the Bay is not the seat of entertainment law. I realized that a little bit too late, that really if you're going to study entertainment law, you belong in Los Angeles. But there were some great course offerings on that. But really at Cal, the emphasis is tech law. I did learn a lot. And of course, copyright and contracts were my 2 favorite subjects. I'm a nerd on those things. So it was helpful, even though it wasn't necessarily specifically targeted at entertainment law.
So if folks need you to look at some contracts, they can reach out to you?
I need to go and take the bar. I haven't even sat the bar. So give me a minute. Because when I graduated, I just recorded an album. I didn't even sit the bar. And my friends and my family were looking at me like, oh, are you okay? Did you bump your head? And I said, no, I just know what I'm passionate about. So, but I'm definitely considering circling back and sitting the bar.
I love that for you. Black women, we gonna do something. We gonna always be different and make our talents and passions merge together.
Mm-hmm.
So why jazz? Did you grow up in a jazz kind of household?
I grew up with a really quite diverse mix of musical styles in my household. My parents played classic soul, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Donny Hathaway. My
Yeah.
grandmother on my mother's side played a lot of jazz, like on the radio. So that's how I heard Ella, Duke, Sarah Vaughan, lots of great classical swing singers. And but also I grew up in the house. My older brother is a rapper. His name is Razkaz. And so I grew up in the house.
Wait a minute, that's your brother?
That's my brother.
I've heard of them. Okay.
Yeah. So he had a great record collection and he sampled a lot of different styles. Of course, James Brown, but also I heard Portishead. I heard,
Yes.
lots of rock and pop music, as we were growing up. So I was exposed to a lot of different styles. But what kind of stuck for me ultimately was jazz because I just really liked the rigor that one had to approach. I think in a lot of different styles, there are improvisatory elements, but with jazz, the rigor with which one must approach it can be quite intense. And I like that level of intensity.
Yes. It's so funny. I was shuffling through my vinyl because I have a Sarah Vaughan album, although it seems to have gone missing at this moment. But I was just going to hold that up like, yes, Sarah Vaughan, like classic jazz artist. So glad those folks inspired you.
Yeah, it's hard not to be inspired. I mean, oh goodness, for all of you out there, if you have not listened to Sarah Vaughan's Misty, you need to listen to that. It will change your life. And that is required listening for all my vocal students because just the mastery of tone and dynamic is kind of unparalleled. So, yeah, check that out.
With that said, how would you define Black music?
Black music. I think about it as more of like a DNA than a set of specific rules, do's and don'ts. So when I explain this to students and audiences, what I really talk about is like that through line. And if we look, back to the continent, Africa, and the great diversity of musical art forms that were there and treatments of music and the people who were kidnapped and brought to these shores and how even though they weren't allowed to express themselves in their native languages and weren't able to use the drum, which was so instrumental in communicating musically, these people still had ways of doing things, including call and response, harmonic, different blue notes, ways of approaching harmony, that had more tolerance for tension than traditional classical musical theory. And so even though maybe the methodology, like the ways of approaching and expressing changed over the years, you can still hear that through line. So, just coming through ring shouts, field hollers, into the blues and
Yes.
Soul, classic swing, hip hop, and beyond, we see that is all. Those things are all related, and they're all the impetus is coming from a people who want to express themselves freely, soulfully. That's how I define Black music. It's coming from a culture. It's not just something you can just grab up and appropriate and reproduce. It actually has to come out of the people.
Yes, it comes out of the people. I like that. And speaking of the people, how did you connect with this dynamic duo, Valerie Trout and Audacious, who are, because of Black music, I am?
First of all, can I just state, these are two of the most dynamic, brilliant, artistic, and just loving people that I know. Um, and so I initially first met Valerie Trout when I was in law school. And a friend of a friend introduced us. We actually joined a band together. And Valerie brought me into her Moon Candy live house ensemble. And
I
so,
love the Moon Candy Ensemble. And I
yes,
was like, wait, house music, but with a choir and with a band and we Black? Fire.
heat. So, yeah, and that group was a super group of like the best vocalists I've ever heard. So when I stepped into that sphere, I was super intimidated. I was like, oh, I got to sing behind you or behind them, or it was a problem. But what I loved is that Valerie trusted me with her vision and to sing with her. And it's so funny because I took a step away for a few years because I was just kind of inundated with my solo career. And when I came back to Moon Candy, I felt like I had grown into my voice, and everybody was like, "Dang, Tiff, you can hang." I'm like, "Yeah, I can hang now with y'all."
Okay.
So it's like, but that's one of the things. I just feel like Valerie has vision and a lot of trust and a lot of intuition. And then the way that I met the great Audacious is through Valerie Trout. I remember seeing a performance where Audacious spoke this really powerful poem that she had written, and Valerie's band was playing, and the singing was woven through the poetic piece. And I remember being slapped all in the mouth from Audacious's writing. And so after that, I've just been a longtime fan of her. So when they started the festival, I just thought there was no two better people to do that.
Yes. And so they're going to be in your space, the Wyldflowr Arts space.
Yeah.
How long has this space been around? Because it's new to me.
Yes. So it was open in a previous iteration. This is before I was a partner in the business. And so 2023, it was launched under a different name, and they had events there. And because of Black Music I Am did actually, have last year's festival there. And I was an MC for one of the days. And then once we got to 2024, the top of this year, I joined my business partner, Nora Free. She invited me on board, and her two other business partners stepped away. And so I got really lucky. I walked into a space that is a gorgeous plant paradise with very comfy and loungy couches and and a full backline, piano-based drums. And it's just a place you can just lay up, have a drink, listen to some good music. It's a really great listening room. So we've been open since January officially, and we're just building our momentum. We have a little bit of a learning curve here because Nora and I are both working musicians. And so we're stepping to the other side of the stage, right? Now we're backstage administrating things. And so it's like, okay, we have a lot. I know I personally have a lot more empathy for my friends who own clubs than I did before. I'd just be like, give me my check. I don't care how many people are here. And now I'm like, woo, let me work hard. Let me work harder, when I step into other people's venues.
Absolutely. It's always a different thing. Like once you step on the other side of the same business, but you're like, okay, I went from either performance side to administrative side or administrative side to performance side. That transition is always a game changer. And you're like, whoo, okay. Now I might have been wrong before.
Yeah.
Maybe I was doing too much before, but now I get it.
Yeah. And that's another great thing. There's like people in the community really stepped up two people I can think of in specific are Jay from Mr. Tipples, who actually came to Wyldflowr and sat down with us and just brainstormed for 2 hours with us on how, to increase foot traffic and, just different practical things. So it has felt like there are a lot of people in the community that want to see us succeed.
Yes, I love that for y'all. So give us the dates of the festival so people can come out and join y'all. Because of Black music, I am. Because of Black music, I am.
Yes, so the festival is going to be 2 non-consecutive nights. The Wednesday is a game night, and that's June 12th, featuring Howard Wiley, who's an incredible sax player, and Ryan Nicole Austin, great rapper, actor, vocalist. She's ill. And so it's folks can come out. It'll be a little jam session after their performance, and we'll hang, eat, and just play some board games and fellowship together. So on Saturday, June 15th, there's it's a 1 p.m. panel discussion with Larry Batiste. And then in the evening, starting at 7 p.m., there's going to be a concert with some great folks. But Fur is going to be headlining that evening. For those who don't know Fur, he's a Bay Area native, and he sings now everywhere. He's an international artist. So y'all should all come through and enjoy a hang at the Because of Black Music I Am Festival.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone, all the art, all the performing artists. I'm trying to be down there for the game night because I am super competitive with the games. And last time I played with Valerie and then people's over there, this one guy, he cheated me.
What were you playing?
Dominoes. I don't know how he came up so fast. I was winning, I blinked, and I lost.
Oh, you need a rematch.
I need a rematch. He knows who he is.
You calling him out.
Right, no names, but he knows who he is. It's a light-skinned Black man.
Oh, okay. I'm going to keep an eye out for him.
So I'll be there at the game night, and I'll be there at the concert. I wish that everyone would join us. And even if you can't make it out, leave a donation online, and also stream the music, people. Stream the music, tell somebody else about it, repost. There are many ways to support our Black community, and especially our Black musicians, vocalists, those in the music industry. We want to support them.
Just gonna say, and also it's just a time to support one another with good energy. I think we're all feeling the intensity of what is going on in this world, and so let's come together and give each other some love.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for chatting with us today, Tiffany.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, tell the audience where they can find you and Wyldflowr.
Well, my personal website is just my name, TiffanyAustin.com with a Y, Tiffany, like the jewelry, in Austin, like Texas. And then Wyldflowr, it's got a fancy spelling, so let me spell that for you. So it's spelled Wyld, W-Y-L-D, Flow, F-L-O-W, and then an R. So if you think about it, Wyldflowr with a Y, no E. WyldflowrArts.com. Otherwise, just find me on Instagram, Tiffany Austin Music, and then you can see there's a link directly to the socials for Wyldflowr Arts.
Awesome. And these links will also be in our show notes. Tap in and support Black creativity. Thank all of you out there for listening and supporting another season. Again, leave a review of the show on Apple Podcasts or in the comments of our social media. I do check them often. This has been another episode of The Black Landscape with Andrea Spearman, where Black excellence is always trending.